In this module, we will learn about arrays. Arrays are a very powerful tool for programming. They are a basic building block and form the underlying basis for a number of more sophisticated data structures, such as lists in Python, array lists in Java, and heaps. In this video, we will introduce the concept of an array. Consider this program that takes the daily high temperatures over 4 days and calculates the average. Our program uses one floating point variable for each day's temperature. This is manageable because we only have 4 days worth of data. But it would become very cumbersome if we were calculating the average temperature over a month or even a year. Imagine declaring 365 individual variables. Instead, most programming languages have a data type that can hold multiple values that share the same name. Let's add a new statement to our program. This statement declares an array of 4 floating point numbers. First, we specify the type of one element of the array, in this case, a float. In C, all the elements in a given array must be the same type. Next comes the name of the array, followed by square brackets. The square brackets aren't part of the name. We use them to specify the number of elements in the array. In this case, we're allocating space for 4 floating point numbers. Now we have to change the code where we assign the 4 temperatures. In the original code, we assigned values to 4 different variables. Now we want to assign all 4 values to the array, 1 to each element. We access an element of an array by providing the name of the array followed by the specific index to access in brackets. The indices start at 0. We are no longer declaring an integer in this line. Instead, we are assigning 16.0 to the first element of the array, which was already declared. So we don't need to provide the type here. The next index is 1. So to assign the second value, we access the array again, but at index 1 rather than 0. The last 2 values are placed at indices 2 and 3. We often refer to array elements by saying the array name at some index. So I would read the last line as daytime high at 3 is assigned 19.1. We need to use the same bracket notation to access the array values when we compute the average. You may be wondering, how is this any better than simply using 4 different variables? In our example, with 1 month of variables, for instance, we still have 31 assignment statements. However, using arrays allows us to use a variable as the index. For example, here we access a particular day using the variable index. We just set index to 1, but you could imagine the index being set while the program runs, from user input, for example, or by computing a value. If we were still using different variables, we would be unable to change the variable name being accessed in the code, so we wouldn't be able to change the value being printed at runtime. Later, we will use variables and loops to systematically access all the elements of an array, and this will help us write clear code and to avoid repetition like the 4 assignment statements we use to set daytime highs.